Yo, what's up? Today, we're going to be talking about all of the reasons why I love the PlayStation 5 controller. Let's get brutal! Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy, the Fortatron! And today, I'm going to be talking about all of the different reasons why I personally love the DualSense controller for PlayStation 5. We're going to be going over my favorite features and some of the features that may have been a little blown out of proportion and some of them that I think are truly groundbreaking. Let's get into this. Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about is the look and feel of this controller. So when you saw pictures of this controller when it was first announced, it was pretty stark because it's the first time that they've really released like an all-white controller, a controller that's mostly white. So it was like pretty shocking compared to the previous DualShock 4 controller. But when you get it in person, like it looks so much better when you have it in hand. And I find that the DualSense controller is a little bit bulkier than the DualShock 4 and it fits in my hands a lot better. I've got big banana hands and this just feels right to me. Obviously, if you prefer the shape and the style of the Xbox controller, I don't know, you might not think this is as cool, but I personally prefer the feel of a PlayStation controller. That's subjective, so all of you are different, so you prefer whatever controller you prefer. But if you like the DualShock 4 controller, you will love the DualSense controller. I really like how it feels. They kind of just like kept what worked and just made everything else a little bit better. All right, the next thing, let's talk about some of the features of the DualSense controller. So I won't get into all of the features just now. I'm gonna save some of that for later, but some of the cool additions is USB-C charging, the also charging port at the bottom if you have the charging accessory, which I still can't get a hold of because they're sold out, and they've still been sold out since November, so who knows. There's the same headphone jack at the bottom. There's a microphone and a speaker built into the controller, and we got the familiar touchpad up top here. Good features. The microphone, I don't know if I'll use that often. I always just turn it off. I know a lot of people make fun of the microphone, but hey, like for some games it's cool. Me personally, I just turn it off. Another thing with the charging port, so that being USB-C, most things are USB-C now, so it just makes it so much more easy and universal to charge these controllers. I personally wouldn't get one of those accessories where you like stand your PS controller like this and it's all weighing on that USB-C port. That's a little bit too much weight for me on that flimsy little port, so I would definitely recommend one that uses the bottom charging station. If you just have one controller, yeah, just plug in a USB-C cable and plug that into the console, and you're ready to rip. All right, let's talk about some of the features that I think are game-changing for the DualSense controller. So a lot of people have been talking about the haptic feedback that's in these controllers, and then also some of the little more gimmicky features that you find showcased in the Astro's Playroom game. Like there's some features where like you can blow on the microphone and that would interact with the game. I don't know, like I don't see that being used any more than a gimmick, but the rest of the features that are built into this controller are no gimmicks. These are for real next-gen features that I think are amazing. Let's talk about haptic feedback versus rumble. Controllers for the longest time, ever since the N64 Rumble Pack.
Introducing Star Fox 64 with Rumble Pack, only for Nintendo 64.
Have just used basic rumble motors in the controllers to add a little sensation to the game. So whenever there's like a big rumbling engine, like again, that word rumble, like a big engine, like you're flying or like you're shooting guns, you have these really basic rumble motors that just pretty much have like an off or an on. A little bit more recently, rumble has progressed to maybe a little bit different levels, so like a light rumble to a medium rumble to a heavy rumble, but it's primarily stayed the same for like the past 10-15 years. Let's bring in haptic feedback now. In most modern cell phones now, they've gotten rid of their rumble or vibrate motors and they've switched them out for haptic feedback motors. Haptic feedback motors have a lot more precise movement that can create sensations that a rumble motor simply can't. With the haptic motors that are in the DualSense controller, you can add a level of experience that you just previously didn't have in a game before. So instead of just like a rumble feature turning on or off or light or heavy, you get different sensations in the controller that can simulate different impacts, different environments that your character is walking in. I know a lot of people have kind of blown it out of proportion. They're like, wow, I can like really feel like the glass that I'm walking on, or I can feel like different textures that my character's walking on. And that is kind of true. Like, it is just different sensations, but it's not as extreme as you would make it out to be. But it's still an added level of experience to these games that we just previously didn't have. All right, let's talk about the triggers on the DualSense. What's insane is the L2 and R2 triggers. They have a motor built in that adjusts the level of sensitivity of these triggers. So you could be in a game and it'll be really hard to squeeze the R2 button, or it'll be really hard to squeeze the L2 button, or it'll make it really easy depending on the item that you're using, or if you're out of ammo. The best example that I could think of is when I got Control Enhanced Edition for free on PS Plus. It downloaded both the PS4 version and the PS5 version. And you'll play the PS4 version, you'd be like, okay, well, it's on 60 frames per second, that's cool. But then when you go to the Enhanced Edition and it's got the haptic feedback and then also the adjustable triggers, it was insane how much it added to the playability of the game and then just the overall experience. I'm gonna be saying that word a bunch, overall experience, because this is what is making the PlayStation just that next gen experience, is all of these little enhancements that they put into the DualSense controller. I want to stop for a second and I want to get this out of the way. Regardless of whatever platform you enjoy playing your games on, that's fine, that's cool. I'm not saying anything against that. What I am saying though is, even if you prefer like the Xbox controller or the Google Stadia controller, or like hell, the Steam controller, I don't know. Once you pick up a DualSense controller and you start playing a game on it, you're gonna be like, I get it. I get what everyone's talking about. This is insane. I would love to see more consoles or more manufacturers picking up on these cool features that are built into this controller, and I would love to see this just be the new thing that is just common amongst all gaming controllers, because it is seriously just, you can't explain it in words. Again, I know there's people out there that just prefer the feel of the Xbox controller and they love that controller. But for real, you will pick up this controller and then you will play with it and you'll be like, damn, I wish the Xbox controller had some of these features. Trust me, it's nothing against the Xbox controller. It's just, this is truly a next gen controller for a next gen experience. I also want to say that this is coming from the perspective of somebody who mainly plays like one-person campaign games, doesn't really play shooters, so maybe this isn't the best controller for shooters, who knows? Using this controller has been a delight for the last 6 months, roughly 6 months, and I'm just stoked at where games take all these features in the future. Let me know in the comments down below what was your favorite controller of the last 10 years, and what one's your favorite right now. I'd be really interested to read that. If you like this video, check out some of these other videos where I talk about gaming stuff. I'm gonna head out of here. Just do me one last favor. Have yourself a great day. Cheers, everybody.